Hey, I'm Dylan. I'm a tennis coach and content creator, and I'm going to help SwingVision subscribers improve their strokes. Notice how my body is really coiling. Try to aim with a little bit of height and shape. The leg drive, finishing on that toe. That his offhand is open, therefore his body. What I want you to practice. One thing that I love doing is tracking my own game through videos, and I post all across social media. If you want to know a little bit more about me, my name is Tennis with Dylan. In this episode, we're reviewing your forehand submissions. Submission number 1 is Luciano. Let's take a look at his forehand. Nice steps. Good structure, moving forwards to attack. Really nice. So from that first point, you can see Luciano dictating with depth. This is something that's really nice that you can see straight away from SwingVision. 2 of the green dots, 1 deep onto the backhand side of the opponent, and then 1 deep ball onto the juice side, then following up with the short ball when attacking. Let's break this down a little bit further. So as you can see, I'm going to be slowing down the point. First ball, Luciano is striking that ball deep cross with that lefty forehand. Therefore, he gets a second ball, which lands slightly shorter. From the SwingVision heat map, you can see that it landed in the service box. Therefore, what I would like to see from Luciano is that he can move up a little bit faster to take on this ball, and potentially you can close the net. This is slightly more advanced, but it's something I would recommend him trying out. I really like how SwingVision shows you what you can be thinking about in your own game in order to help transform it. The quality of depth is something that I want you guys to prioritize. One thing I want you guys to remember is focusing on the depth over the power, pushing your opponents back deep and trying to draw the shorter balls to attack. Keeping that ball nice and deep, pushing him back. Short ball, step up and attack. Try to aim with a little bit of height and shape and gaining that short ball to attack. Submission number 2 is from Joel. Let's take a look at his forehand. I want you to pay attention to what he's doing with his legs. Notice how when I slow-mo it down here on SwingVision, you're able to see that he's swinging predominantly with his arm, and his back leg does follow along, which you want to do. But what I would recommend from Joel to take his game and improve is to make sure that he can load and store in that back leg longer. The power comes from the ground up, so making sure that he can transfer from the back leg into the front leg will not only get him more power, but also help with the fluency of his shots. One thing I want you to focus on is the leg drive, making sure that you store the energy from your back leg when driving into your shots. Pay attention to what my back toe is doing. If I have a neutral ball, I'm going to be hitting and driving on that toe, finishing up nice and high. Likewise, if I'm being pushed a little bit wider, driving it to my shot, and again, you can see my toe is nice and high. For the shorter balls, transferring your weight down the court, finishing on that toe, really accentuate that back leg to front leg. Let's take a look at Joel's second forehand. Something that I would recommend for Joel to try out would be the leg drive, making sure that you can store that energy from the back leg and then emphasizing that transfer down the court rather than the walk into the court. This will not only elevate your shot. What I want you to practice is making sure you're storing the energy on outside leg, driving into your shots. Submission number 3 is from Chris. Let's take a look at his forehand. Firstly, when taking a look at Chris's forehand, you will notice what is his offhand doing. So this will be his left hand as a righty. You'll notice that he's pulling his arm quite fast and away from his body, therefore reducing his chance to store that energy when coiling. You're going to notice that his offhand is pulling open, therefore his body will be facing the front court. One exercise that I want you to practice is by catching the ball, keeping your shoulders and body coiled to the side. Therefore, you can store the energy before releasing down the court. Let me show you. And catch, you can see that my offhand is staying nice and stable. Catch and strike. For Chris to work on the forehand, I would recommend making sure that he keeps his offhand on the throat of the racket for longer. When he's storing the energy, you'll notice that my chin is on my front shoulder. And then when I'm finishing through my shot, I want my chin to be on my opposite shoulder. This will give you more rotation through your shots. You can see that my offhand is pointing alongside the baseline and my chin is on my front shoulder. From here, coiling our body and then releasing through our shots, Notice how my body is really coiling in preparation before I'm swinging, rather than opening up and separating with my offhand. Here I'm going to show Chris opening up his body too early, which is something we don't want to do. You'll notice that my chest is facing forwards towards the court prematurely. Now what I want you to try is making sure that you keep your offhand to the same side as your chest for longer before you then rotate into your shots. And with thanks to SwingVision, this not only helps me to level up my own coaching, but it also helps you guys to improve your own game as well. If you want a chance to be featured, submit your SwingVision session to the email below and make sure to check out SwingVision to learn more.